Today we're going to get started with a new job. It's going to be a kitchen renovation. We're going to remove all these cabinets, install new cabinets, new counter, granite. Then we'll actually remove all this flooring down to the subfloor, hardy, lay tile, and we're going to do some drywall downstairs. Then we'll do a little flooring throughout the house. So this will be a long project, and I'll detail mostly going through the kitchen here and show you step by step what I'm doing. We're going to start today by putting up a little plastic here, just so we can keep the dust down from the rest of the house. Alright, so now that I've got the zip wall and the plastic up with the zipper door, I'm going to get started moving the appliances. We're going to save the stove, we're going to save the fridge, this range hood, we're going to get rid of that, and later we'll put a microwave with a hood on it. And we'll also save the dishwasher. So I'll go through and detail removing these. Now this is pretty self-explanatory. I'm just going to pull this, unplug it, that's pretty much all there is. Alright, now this range hood, first thing you want to do is disconnect the electric. Now, usually there's a cover inside here where the wires are. There we go, got that cover off. There you can see all the wiring inside, so we'll get all that disconnected and then we'll be able to pull the range hood down. So I disconnected this and the power is still live. But if you're not comfortable with that, you can get one of these sensor wands, something like this, and it'll tell you when you hit the circuit. You can turn it off at your breaker panel. Trash. Now we're going to move this fridge. So it has rollers, it should be pretty easy. And all you gotta do is unplug it. There's an ice maker line that's attached to this. And most of the time they run under the sink. I've already disconnected that and opened the water up. So I'll disconnect it from the fridge, and then we'll roll it over to the corner where we can hook it back up. A lot of these fridges have feet on them and they just screw up or down. You can just use channel locks like that, and once you put them down, that kind of prevents it from moving. So I just unscrewed them up, but these feet weren't even touching anyway. So we'll try to move it. There we go. So now we'll disconnect the dishwasher. You just want to disconnect the drain line and the water shut off. Hopefully there's a shut off. And disconnect that water feed line. And those will usually go through the side wall of the cabinet. And then We'll take the trim off here, disconnect the electric, and then the washer pull out. This I'm going to disconnect. Alright, now we'll pull the dishwasher out. Still got a screw holding it here. Alright, so there's only one thing left to do, which is the garbage disposal. We'll take that out, and then we'll start to take apart the sink and the faucet. We're going to save that faucet in this example, and we'll set those aside. Then we'll be able to start taking the cabinets out. So we don't need to disconnect the breaker. This is tied to a switch, and the power actually is wired correctly so that it doesn't flow through the appliance. So unless you flip that switch, it won't get shocked. So I've shut off the water here. Right now I'm going to disconnect the water feed lines, and then we'll set aside the faucet. So I just put everything back into place, that way it wouldn't get lost while I'm storing it, just in case. Alright, so now I'm ready to remove the cabinets. I'll get started just by removing the doors, and I'll set those aside. Alright, now we're going to remove all the drawers, and I'll break them apart. That way they're a little more compact for hauling away. So I had a problem with the camera while I was removing this sink. Basically, there were screws that I just loosened underneath that held brackets that put pressure on the sink. Once those came out, the sink just lifted right out. So now we're going to remove the counter, and there's hardware right here in this seam, and I'm just going to rip it out, and then we'll get to the hardware, and then we can take it apart and take them into the two separate pieces. And a little bit of drywall to fix. So here's the bolts that you'd normally take apart, but at this point I'll just take them out in two pieces. Now that we got the counter removed, we'll go ahead and start removing the base cabinets. drop the wall cabinets. So I got the cabinets down. For the rest of the day, I'm just going to pack everything up, take it to the dump. Then tomorrow we'll come in, rip all this flooring out. I want to get down to the subfloor, and we'll see how much room we have to give. If I have enough room, I'd like to put 1/2-inch hardy, but I may only have enough to do a 1/4. I'll screw and glue that with PL Premium down to the subfloor, and that should firm it up pretty decent. And then we'll just use Flex Bond mortar on top. That should be fine. So that's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow back at the job site. Forget it. This will take too long. I'm just going to carry them out and pack them in.